Going on, people? Mr. Black Guy 410. I'll be your captain for this evening, and today I want to talk about the latest album from Open Mike Eagle entitled Dark Comedy. Not really much of an intro for me to do on this guy. To be honest, I didn't know a lot about him before I even listened to this. I heard of him first, like randomly, I want to say from Mike C-Town from Dead End Hip Hop, I think, or Anthony Fantano. One of those two dudes was the first time I ever even heard of him. And I just randomly YouTubed him one day, and I came across I think it was a Knox Steady video of him rapping, and I thought it was kind of dope. So, and ironically, around the time I looked at the video was around the time when this album came out. So I figured I would just give it a listen. I guess what kind of attracted me to his music first was his style was definitely different than what I'm accustomed to listen to. He has this very really low-key, calm delivery, almost like he's kind of speaking to you, but also mixed with that weird kind of delivery, he still has some really good wordplay if you pay attention to him. Specifically relating to this album, where like I said, wordplay definitely still is a part of it. He's very witty and poetic with words if you really read into his lyrics. Also very artsy. I would say not too far out there, but definitely kind of an artsy kind of guy. But it works. He has that perfect blend of being artsy, still being witty, and not being boring. So I think he could still appeal to some people. Might not be for everybody, because like I said, his style is a bit different, and it wasn't something that I immediately liked, but it grew on me after I listened to him a bit more. And as far as this album goes, I guess I'll get right into it. I actually ended up really liking this. After the first listen, I liked it, but I didn't like it. But after listening to it probably about 2 or 3 times, it's definitely grown on me. Sorry, I got Facebook going off in the background, but whatever. But yeah, the Dark Comedy is definitely an appropriate title for this album. Right from the jump off, the first track, which is called The Dark Comedy Morning Show. One of the lines was, for those who haven't heard of me, I'm bad with sarcasm, so I work in absurdity. And I think that line completely describes this album in a nutshell. He kind of speaks from the place of kind of just a common guy, at least in my opinion. But his topics are relevant to just kind of common everyday people things, but he describes it in such a witty poetic way that makes it really interesting to listen to, and mixed in with comedic elements as well, which is why I really ended up liking this album. Production wise, it was kind of dark. It was dark and real melancholy at moments on the album, and like I said, it created that perfect mood for dark comedy, pretty much. I think that title really fits what this album is. It's a perfect description of what it is. It was, how many tracks on this album? I want to say we got 15 tracks. Sorry, 13 tracks. I lied. 13 tracks on the album. It's a pretty quick listen. Not too many features on here. You got Kool A.D. from Das Racist, and Hannibal Buress makes a good contribution here. I'll get into that track later. If you don't know who he is, he's a comedian. And somebody named Toy Light, who's on the opening track on here. But yeah, as far as features, it keeps it pretty simple and to a minimum. So, and I like albums like that. So you buy an album from him, you get to hear a lot of him. It's not like a horde of features taking over his record. I guess I'll get into some of the specific tracks I like. The opener, like I said, Dark Comedy Morning Show, perfect opener for the album. Perfect. That song sets the tone for the album. When you listen to that, that's what you're gonna get throughout the whole album in terms of the mood. At least to me, it created that really good. Thirsty Ego Raps was a dope track, and he was talking about he had a line. I think he said, "This is by Emotional Ape Face. I'm president of the rappers that don't condone date rape." He has a lot of I like a lot of his lines. A lot of his lines are really witty and comedic comedic, but also like has some serious undertone to him if you like really read into him. Very Much Money was a good track, probably one of my favorite tracks on here, and it's pretty much just him talking about him looking up to like his like regular normal average people, and he like just sees them as superheroes even though they're not really like rich in material things. He finds extraordinary things about them even though like they're not, really like rich or famous or anything like that. So I thought that was one of my favorites on here. Doug Stamper, which is the track that features Hannibal Buress on here. Probably one of the most comedic tracks on here. I love Hannibal's opening verse when he's talking about telling dudes to stop pissing on the toilet seat. Which, if anybody who knows me personally, I made a comment on my Facebook about a similar situation, but that's another story for another day. The track Idaho was pretty good. Him talking about pretty much him and his friends were taking like a long like road trip, and all of his friends just kind of like fell asleep, and he's the only one up, and it's kind of just like him and his thoughts. And he's like, I'm paraphrasing, but he had a line talking about, why did my friend fall asleep? He's supposed to be my extra set of eyes. Blah blah blah. Talks about drifting on the side of the road, things like that. So I thought that track was cool. Sad Face Penis Raps was another dope track. That was another one of my favorites, even though it was a really, really short track. And that track is pretty much talking about how life just doesn't always work out. And he's talking about, he had a line, all good feels are mirages, so don't spend your money on weed and massages. And then I like how the track ends when what's the line he said? He said a line about how no one in life gets everything they want, and he thinks it's beautiful. And then like the track just kind of like abruptly ends, and then he goes on like this mini rant of him like complaining. So I thought the setup, like the concept of that track was really dope. Defamate Black was a really good track. That first verse was really good. If you actually like read into the lyrics, that track was pretty dope. And the closer on here, Big Pretty Bridges. That was also, I thought that was a perfect like closer to the album. So yeah, overall, like I said, 13 tracks. I didn't even mention all of the tracks on here, but there weren't really any tracks that like I didn't like. Yeah, most of these were all quality tracks. Some I like more than others, but none necessarily bad. But like I said, I'm not sure due to his style that if this would be an album for everybody. Pretty much I would say if you listen to the title track, The Dark Comedy Morning Show, if you can get with that track, you enjoy that track, you'll probably like the rest of this album. If you listen to that track and you're not feeling it, this probably won't be the album for you. Like I said, he's very, very witty guy. Style is really different. Uses like some obscure like references and things like that. So, like I said, due to his like delivery, I'm not sure if maybe he would be for everybody, but I definitely enjoyed it. He's very like unique in my opinion. I've never heard anybody who has like this kind of style he has. He definitely has his own lane that he fits pretty good into. I love the content on the album, like him talking about just like regular everyday stuff, but just making it real poetic and witty when he talks about it. Yeah, man, I don't really have much else to say. I'm glad heard about him. Glad I actually checked the album out. I'll post the link in the description to the Bandcamp page, so you can listen to it. Definitely cop it, if you like it. And yeah, that's about it, man. OpenMicEagle.comedy. Give it a listen. Something different, but you might enjoy it. Maybe you won't, but I think it's worth giving a shot. So OpenMicEagle.comedy. Thumbs up for me, and that's about it. So until next time, I will catch y'all later. Be easy.